3 hours passed, and the storm raged on. Natalie and I moved Jim's body into the rail car where we had decided to wait out the storm. But as we sat there and I looked at the dead man and the unconscious one next to him, I was beginning to think that might not happen at all. Every hour or so, I checked Mr. Kearney's pulse to make sure that he was all right. He seemed to have no major injuries, but after being unconscious for so long, there was no telling what the blow to his head had done. "I think we need a radio for help," Natalie said after another roar of thunder crashed across the sky. The only way we would be able to was to reach Jim's laptop. And that's in the trailer, remember? "Those things are going to find us eventually." "We have to do something," she insisted. I know, I said, and trembled as the cold air pushed in again. It was luck alone that we had kept alive, but revealing ourselves now guaranteed the creatures would react. There was only one chance to make it out. "Fine. Let's do it," I decided as I moved towards Jim's body. Despite the fact that I had felt wrong violating a corpse, I knew for us to make it through the rain, we would need cover. The burns we had experienced from the storm already were enough to cause mild scarring on my exposed hands. Any worse, and I wouldn't be fit to help anyone, I thought. I carefully took Jim's coat off and used it to drape over my shoulders. Natalie had a hard time not weeping again as we stared at the man that had tried so hard to save us. "Do you even think we stand a chance?" she said as I pushed the rail car door open. I didn't bother responding. It'd be pointless to give her false hope. Outside, a crash of thunder made me jump, and I hunkered down near the wide door to stare towards the overturned camper. It was probably only 30 feet away. "I need you to act as lookout," I told Natalie. She nodded and placed her back against the massive metal door as I kept Jim's ragged coat wrapped around my head. The wind seemed to pick up the second I stepped out in the torrential storm. It was so hard to even see the area around me, but I kept my eyes straight ahead. Even when I heard another of the beasts howl amidst the thunder, I didn't waver. I found the door we loosened earlier and shimmied inside on my belly. Once inside, I pulled my body up to a crouched position and looked about. Jim's laptop was turned over amidst the other debris. Just as I reached for it, I heard the hiss of a creature from above. I hunkered down again as it clawed at the tires above my head and slowly pulled the laptop over me. I stayed as perfectly still as I could as the creature searched for me, and as I lay there, I felt the temperature change. The rain began to lighten and the sky cleared. Was the storm past? I didn't hear any noises from above, so I decided to take a chance and crawl back out. A gentle drip of gasoline glistened on the side of the camper. It got a little bit on me as I climbed out and looked up. That's when I realized the storm was waiting. A rush of air pushed its way back down to the train yard. I heard Natalie yell in the distance as the funnel hit the ground, flinging debris towards me. I was struck with such force that it knocked me off my feet. I fell right down next to the puddle of gasoline that had formed next to the camper. A crazy idea formed in my head as the tornado moved straight towards me. Getting back to my feet, I moved to the rear of the camper where we packed our auxiliary gear and flung open the door. Another pile of trash collapsed at my feet. I pushed aside the papers and found Mr. Kearney's personal backpack as the storm grew closer. I felt the camper beginning to move, said a prayer. My one shot was about to slip away. At last I found it, Paul's cigarette lighter. Quickly I lit a flame and moved towards the trail of gasoline. I snatched the laptop up and hollered towards the twister. From within its mighty frame, a booming growl came back. The funnel turned towards me, pushed straight towards the camper. I didn't waste another second. I tossed the lighter towards the gas and watched as the flames spread towards the camper. As I ran for cover near some of the scattered debris, the whole vehicle went up in flames. At the same time, the tornado smashed against the hood of the camper, and immediately the flames jumped onto the twister and I heard a howl of pain. It didn't take long before the entire funnel was sucking up the fire and spreading it into the core of the storm. Natalie came running to my side as I stood mesmerized by the tornado. Then, at her urging, we pulled back to the makeshift bunker. A few moments later, the cyclone was completely gone. My crazy plan had somehow managed to hurt the damn thing. I let out a sigh of relief and checked Jim's laptop, even more excited to see that it had still withstood the whole ordeal. I started up the system as we returned to the rail car. Evening was starting to fall across the land as I finished uploading the flash drive to his program. Son of a bitch, this isn't going to work, I said as I watched the upload slow down. It's the metal roof. Upsets the signal, Natalie said, grabbing the laptop and gesturing for me to follow out into the open air. About 13 minutes later, I was patched through to the station. Natalie let out a squeal of delight as I sent out our location to Caleb and Olivia. After that, I checked the radar and watched as the storm moved to the northeast. It's moving towards the mountains, I realized as I watched its speed increase. Where could it possibly be going? Do you think you actually heard it? Natalie whispered. I didn't know what to say to that. It seemed unreal to consider that we even stood a chance against something that powerful. Instead of focusing on that problem, I decided to address a different one. You know a thing or two about astronomy, right? Natalie nodded, and I gestured to the night sky that was forming around us. Maybe I'm seeing things, but does it seem like some of these constellations aren't right? She squinted and looked up. And just as she was about to make a statement, we heard the most bizarre noise come from within our shelter. It was so inhuman that it caused both of us to jump. I turned about, and Natalie said nervously, "Did one of those things stay behind?" "Stay behind me," I ordered. And we moved towards the entrance and found an old steel pipe. And that was when I realized the noise was coming from the same rail car where we had been hiding earlier. "Paul!" I called out and passed the laptop to her, running up to the door to the car. What I saw next defied all explanation. Jim's body was convulsing, twisting on the floor like a rag doll. Something was crawling its way out of his mouth. It resembled this spidery web of slime, and it latched onto his body to cover his face with a coat of brown skin that sealed his dead eyes closed. His legs and arms bent over awkwardly to form a sort of distorted crab-like appearance as I watched. Then the tendrils began to slide their way down his skin, fusing his body parts together to create a tough exoskeleton. All the while, the sounds emanating from his corpse were enough to send a cold chill through my whole body. Behind him, I saw Mr. Kearney stir. It was probably the most inconvenient time for the old man to finally come to, but there was nothing I could do to stop him from seeing what was happening. Paul pushed his body back against the wall of the rail car as Jim continued to twist and reform. His skin and muscle now being stretched to its limits. Mr. Kearney caught sight of me and slowly crawled over to where I was at for help to break free, trying his best to keep his eyes from being distracted by the horrors that were happening to his friend. I didn't hesitate to grab Kearney by the arm and pull him out of the rail car. Then I slammed the door shut and began to jam the metal rod into the handle. Anything to keep this monstrous corpse from breaking free. Natalie was standing close by, listening to the screams that sounded so much like the man she had known for the past 6 months. I helped Kearney get away from the car as Jim's body started to ram against the side, desperate to be out of the confined space. "Help me," I asked Natalie, since the old man didn't have his crutch. In another moment, the latch was free. I couldn't help but look back. The gray matter was forming scales down Jim's legs and chest, long, stretching sinew and sharp bones, pushing out at all angles as the transformation was complete. We all started to run. Out in the open air, I checked the horizon to see if there was anywhere to hide, but most of the other cars had been devastated by the tornado. The creature that had taken control of Jim's body was bounding towards us faster than a cheetah. Then, from somewhere off in the distance, I heard the sound of an engine. We helped Kearney get to the closest overturned trailer for cover, and I spotted a yellow weather van driving up at top speed. "Caleb! Olivia!" I realized with excitement rushing over me. The creature was almost on top of us, but they were faster. The van slammed hard against it, sending it flying as it hit their brakes. Caleb jumped out, guns blazing, as he looked towards the monster. "Wait, wait!" Natalie begged him with tears in her eyes as he walked over to the wounded beast. It's Jim," she explained. I could tell the statement shocked Caleb as much as it did us, as he stared down at the dying monster. I thought I saw sadness in the monster's eyes and hesitation. But then the hunter made a decision, pointed his pistol towards its skull and opened fire. He didn't stop until his bullets were gone. Olivia was at my side a moment later, checking her father for injuries. "How did you get here so quickly? I just sent out a signal like an hour ago," I asked. "We were in the area. Sorry, Dad, but I just knew something was wrong when you didn't phone in." "You left the station unmanned?" her father asked, a panic look in his eyes. Yes and no. Managed to make a sort of mobile broadcast for us while we're out here and about. We followed your directions, picked up Dylan's signal about 19 miles back, Caleb explained. Kearney still didn't look very happy with either of them. Isn't safe out here, he muttered. Yeah, no kidding, Olivia said as she got him up and added, We need to get you back to the station and recover. We can't do that, not now, Paul said, looking towards the dead corpse of what was once Jim Lasher. Now that my adrenaline was slowing down, a few stray pieces of this puzzle were being put together. This is never about tracking the storm, I realized. What are you talking about, Pruitt? Caleb muttered. Kearney's face was filled with emotion. He knew I had figured it out. I think I owe you all an explanation. Hey guys, I just want to make sure that all of you take a look in the description down below for multiple different reasons. The main reason I'm talking about right now, though, is to look at the author's links. Every time that I do a story on one of these platforms, I post links from the authors. Some of them are books that the authors put out. If you like the stories that you hear, then I highly, highly encourage you to go scroll down, take a look in the description, click one of those links. If you like that author, I guarantee you they have something else that you're going to like. And if they have a book out there, you're going to love that book. I mean, hell, that's how Tales from the Gas Station became what it is, okay? If you guys heard it on YouTube, then hey, there are more, bigger, better versions of it out there that you can get on Amazon or Audible or No Sleep or what have you. So for reals, scroll down, check out the links. And that's not like an advertisement thing. I'm just like, look, this is for your benefit. Check it out. And as always, I want to give a very big thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon. Thank you so much. A very big thank you to Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Stephanie Butler, Reaper61167, Bobby Karman, Tristain, Pelton, Chance Burnett, Diana Kraus, Thiccy McQuicky, SamaHigh, CrusaderChocobo, SpookyShel, Atomaurus, Grand Moth the Milky, Big Smoke 369, Captain Scurvy, SaltyIrishPoet, Estebean, Brayden Morris, Nate Kuhl, HorrorFan1212, Hour Minute Second Time, Kyle Reznak, David Martin, Scare-ington the Unkempt, Robert Malcolm, Angelus, Spanky, Snoochie Boochie, Seclude, Lupita Galvin, That Creepy Chick, Tyler Fletcher, Merxenum, Red Shadow Cat, Xavier the Cheyenne, Demix, Sean Cadieu-baker, 6 Gay Rats in a Trenchcoat, Turtleman, Rob Like Sharp Things, Cryolinian, Xavier Graphius, Lord Life's Best, Goring Tramagasi, Maria Walker, Emily Mitchell, Crazy Kid, Mr. Marcus Blitz, Eka Limchok, Dirt Diver 030, Matt Bach, Voice of Sand, Coffee Zombie, Hidden Tiger, Shelly J, Jeremy H, Psychomel, Nana, Deleted Account, Melted Lake, Tali Sue, William King, Darth Miver, Michael Ortiz, Titanic Aries, Bardo Hawk 764, Lambda M98, Harley, Sashi Suzaku, Cronut 509, Kaylee Ambrose, Suji Campbell, Stricken, Freddy Krueger, Happy Birthday Jason Wilson, Lisa Cottrell, Caspian, Hades Nephew, Tater Chip, Acid System, Prozac and Pancake Appreciation Society, Benjamin Welvert, Cryptic Nightmares, Kiri the Sloth, Fester's Lampshade, Sky Harbor, Nico Kyle, Rafael Rodriguez, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Stormcrow, Daniel Polson, and Corey Kenshin. As always, thank you guys so much, because you guys help me do everything that I do here. You guys help pay authors for stories and commission stories and do everything that I can do to make this channel and make this podcast the best it could possibly be. So thank you all for supporting me here. And as always, everyone, sweet dreams.